Hi, today I want to talk to you about 3 different fragrances, very similar. The first and the main one is this one, Aromatics Elixir. This is by Clinique and it was released in 1971. This is a 2018 bottle. It broke, the sprayer broke, so I had to decant it into this. Yes, this is the liquid. I thought this was vintage when I first got it, but I checked out the batch code and this bottle was made in 2018. The perfumer for this fragrance is Chant. And then I have 2 other fragrances that I need to use to compare that to. This one is Aromatics Elixir Perfumer's Reserve. This was released in 2011, and the perfumer is Laurent Guernec. This is a 2019 bottle. The next fragrance to compare is Aramis 900. This fragrance was released in 1973, and the perfumer is also Chant. This bottle that I have here is a 2014 bottle. Aromatics Elixir, released in 1971, and this is a modern formulation because this is from 2018. So if you get a bottle, it's most likely going to smell like this. I got to tell you, if you like strong, long-lasting fragrances that you can barely get off of you, that are rose focused, this is a rose chypre fragrance, then this one might be for you. This was released for women by Clinique, but I believe it's quite unisex, especially because the other fragrance that the perfumer did in 1973, Aramis 900, was released for men. And these all 3 smell really similar, really similar. I'm going to talk more about it with you and let you know what I think. This is the main perfume that I'm talking about today. It's the most complex and it has the most notes. It's got 21 notes listed and it's the oldest. I think the other 2 were definitely inspired by this one. In fact, almost sure of it, since 2 of them are by the same perfumer. And the other one is actually called Aromatics Elixir Perfumer's Reserve. So these are all extremely similar fragrances. But this one is the most complex. And so I'm going to focus on this one and I'm going to compare the other 2 to this one. Aramis 900, released in 1973, Chant. This one shares 11 of its 17 notes with Aromatics Elixir. The notes it shares are coriander, Brazilian rosewood, bergamot, rose, carnation, jasmine and orris root, oak moss, patchouli, vetiver, and sandalwood. In addition to those 11 notes I just mentioned, Aramis 900 also has green notes and lemon, geranium and lily of the valley, civet and amber. The notes that Aromatics Elixir has that Aramis 900 does not are chamomile, aldehydes, geranium, lemon verbena, clary sage, lang lang, tuberose and orange blossom, incense and musk. This shares 11 of its 21 notes with Aramis 900. This does not have civet in it, that Aramis 900 does. This one is a deeper, richer fragrance. It's really surprising that it's made for women, I'll say that. But it was 1971 when this was released, and fragrances for women were a lot stronger and heavier back then. Regarding Aromatics Elixir Perfumer's Reserve, which was launched in 2011 by a different perfumer, Laurent Guernec. This one shares 10 of its 14 notes with Aromatics Elixir. It shares clary sage, bergamot, lemon verbena, orange flower, rose, jasmine, tuberose, oak moss, patchouli, vetiver. What it has that Aromatics Elixir doesn't have is labdanum. And then it's also listed as woody notes, resin, and myrrh. In Aromatics Elixir, it's listed as incense, but no labdanum is mentioned. Though sandalwood is mentioned, but not amber. Regarding Aromatics Elixir Perfumer's Reserve 2011, these fragrances are very similar. Aromatics Elixir and Perfumer's Reserve, very similar. They share 10 of their notes, and for Perfumer's Reserve, it shares 10 of its 14 notes with Aromatics Elixir. And they're all in the base. The ones that they don't share are in the base, so all of its top notes, all of its mid notes are the same as the original. The main difference is that Perfumer's Reserve has labdanum in it, and Aromatics Elixir, the original, doesn't have that labdanum, and it doesn't have amber listed either. So it's basically, it comes across to me as more sweet and milder, because all these fragrances, these 3 fragrances, all have a very sharp, almost sour rose note that is like the main centerpiece, and that's what they all have in common. That's what you can pick out when you smell them all. You think maybe these are all the same. I've got them here, and I'm having a hard time smelling the difference between them, except the Aromatics Elixir is more sharp, and Perfumer's Reserve is softer and sweeter, and Aramis 900, it's not quite as sharp. Now, all 3 of these fragrances have oak moss listed. However, I'm pretty sure the Aromatics Elixir has more oak moss than the other 2. This has just, the oak moss has like a mealy richness to it, and I don't get as much of that with the other 2 fragrances. It's still there, but I just don't think it's as much. So I think there's more oak moss in this one. So, Aromatics Elixir by Clinique, 1971, marketed towards women. I would say that this is a very rose-forward, sharp chypre, and it's a very complex fragrance. I don't think it's for everybody. I think you have to really like the rose. You have to really like the rose, and you have to want something that's going to be powerful and project. So I think this might be too much for a lot of people. My favorite of these 3 regarding Aromatics Elixir and Aramis 900 and Perfumer's Reserve Aromatics Elixir is this one's my favorite. This one is my favorite. This one seems more wearable. This one seems more balanced to me. This one doesn't have as many notes in it. There are a lot of notes missing that are in the original Aromatics Elixir. This one doesn't have chamomile, aldehydes, coriander, geranium, Brazilian rosewood, carnation, lang lang, orris root, sandalwood, or musk. But this has labdanum and myrrh and resin and woodsy notes. But I would say that if I were to choose any, I would choose this one. But this one, I don't know how available this is. I got this like as a partial bottle, So I don't know if it's still being produced, but I would say this one. This one's my favorite. I know it's probably sacrilege to a lot of perfume lovers for me to say that, but this Aromatics Elixir is just really sharp and sour. And I feel like I want more. I want more of the other florals to come through, and I don't smell the Lang Lang or the Carnation. I don't smell it. I can't tell that it's in here. And also, I think that this other one really benefits from the labdanum. So, this one has a softer, sweeter. On the skin, it's softer. The other one is more sharp. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I know I can't do this fragrance justice. I can't. But I just wanted to give you my impression and tell you a little bit about it.